If a character has red hair, a bit of anger issues, and uses their fists, then they are a Narukami user. Well, that doesn't really exist anymore, but you have to admit, Ryuga's units do have that vibe. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today we're talking all things episode 4 of the Cardfight Vanguard Divinez Parallactic Clash. Mikoto versus Ryuga. And honestly, this felt like Mikoto was fed to the wolves here. We had all this excitement and joy about seeing Mikoto be a part of this group for this season, and that just faded. She did very little. But with her losing this, it does allow us to see what happens to our mythic users after they are defeated. And it was rather sad. Akina is going to be watching as a lot of his friends forget all about him as our heroes step closer and closer to the final villains. Seeing how the mythic users don't fade like the phantom fighters do, but instead they revert back to their phantom selves, this could open up a few more story avenues plot-wise, and I'm kind of intrigued to see how they play on this moving forward. Like, for example, we could have a moment where Akina loses and returns to his phantom self only to regain his mythic powers to fight once more, or we could have it to where our heroes be converted into phantom fighters after losing. Imagine having to face a phantom Kagetsu in this sort of new world that we find himself in. This could be quite fun. Now, the main character of focus in this episode was Ryuga, and his real backstory in the real world was rather tragic. Living with a lot of pressure from his family to perform well in school and get high grades, and then seeing his father get arrested for corruption in politics, then being bullied, seeing his mother drinking and self-harming herself, living on the streets and losing his best friend after scaring him by basically facing the thugs that were attacking and assaulting him, Ryuga's friends left him one by one. His friends was his one source of comfort, the one person he could relax and forget all of his troubles around. But this is all gone. All this suffering, this pain, and this darkness has caused Ryuga to view the real world as negative, and while he doesn't fully accept the phantom world, he's forced to protect it as there are people here that care about him. Life is better than the tragicness that awaits him back in the real world that our heroes are desperate to try and get back to. So I do like this dynamic that not everyone is going to have a happy life in the normal world, so this new phantom world is a breath of fresh air. Now, I know it's a cliche, but Ryuga's rage was like thunder. Seeing his facial expressions were just perfect in showing that he is going through a lot. There is a lot of pain behind his actions and words. As for his units, I joked earlier about them being from the Narukami clan, but they certainly have that feeling. But design-wise, I like it. The Alphard Phantom was crazy, and I said in my last review that Kanami's Ace Ultimate Order card was mid. But this unit gets +2 criticals, 10,000 attack, an extra drive, and your opponent can't use perfect guards. That is insane, and that does have an ultimate finishing feeling to it. Also, was this one of the highest attacks stated that we've seen in Vanguard, with criticals included? Fun fact though, the VA for Ryuga's character has done characters like Bakugo, Genya, and Accelerator. Wait, Accelerator? And he's beating up people called Mikoto? Right, moving on. Now, lastly on Ryuga. He asked Mikoto if she knows what it feels like to be cornered by reality and to be faced with overwhelming despair, to which little Mikoto wouldn't have. But this could have been a perfect question for someone like Suzune or Suo, as both of them have had similar situations as to what Ryuga has gone through. Suzune with her parents being very strict and overprotective and basically forcing her to do whatever is necessary for the family name. very similar to what Ryuga went through, and Suo in losing everything that he held dear to him. However, both of those characters have managed to come back from that despair and find some light to help them move forward for a brighter future. So I do hope that somehow we get that interaction. Now, the past 2 episodes have done an amazing job of building this feeling of desperation, desire, reason, and drive from the Phantom Fighters, really making you question things as you're watching, and what the right course of action is for our heroes. The music in this episode was amazing. The song used in the main clash towards the end of the fight was hype, and it left this fun feeling even if you knew the result from the start. I found myself getting absorbed in this match and just having a fun time, even if I knew Mikoto was going to lose. Oh, Mikoto. Her Mythics card looks so beautiful. Such a shame we've lost her already. Now, a part of me does think that Kurumi is playing a really long game here, as she wants Akina and Kaname to accept her in this Phantom world. So she's spending time with them and building this connection. But if they are forced to fight, could this cloud our heroes' minds and judgment? Now that we know that the Mythics fighters get reverted on defeat? And would Kurumi really want that? Now I know Kurumi was happy to spend a life with Akina while Akina was phantomed at the beginning of the season, but that's not the real Akina. So could Kurumi actually start having some doubts about reverting our heroes? The episode ends with a nice shocking reveal of Erika returning, and I'm super hyped about this, as I want to know what happened to her, because we know she's not meant to be in the normal world, and she's only there because of Garbelius. And Garbelius in this Phantom world, well, he's a villain. So let's see how that gets explained in the next episode. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, hit that like button, comment your thoughts down below, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day, alligator, matane, goodbye.